God is good all the time. And all the time.
God is good and that is his nature.
I just would like to recognize my CS, Dr. Sarah Ruto, who is here in spirit because she has lost her father. And the rest of the protocol is as observed by the Principal Secretary. My statement to the country today is perhaps the most solemn and significant since I joined this ministry more than 3 years ago. I stand here today to release the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education Kcpe examination, which is important to us in two ways. One, it is the last examination which is being released under the Jubilee administration of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, a regime that has seen a 6-year run of the most clean and flawless national examination campaigns that have restored the integrity and credibility of our national certification system. Two, these Kcpe examination results we are releasing today will be the second last before we fully transition into the competency-based assessments under the competency-based curriculum in 2023. I therefore am very proud and thankful to the Lord and His Excellency the President to have allowed me to serve for the last 6 years, 3 as Cabinet Secretary, and incidentally, very strangely, the longest Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Education under the Jubilee administration, and the other 3 years as Chair of the Kenya National Examination Council. I cannot take this for granted, this opportunity for granted. I am aware that there are very many other better qualified people. And I think His Excellency the President alone knows why he dared to my successor, which only God knows. I am proud of my record, and I remain confident that the lady or gentleman who will come after me will find a comfortable place to continue from. That is not to say that Jogo House is a place that is easy to work in. It is a place which does not require people who do not have a hardened heart and the personality to fight corruption. Let me outline a few of these milestones. The competency-based curriculum. As a government, we have done everything possible to midwife the transition of 844 to CBC. So far, the CBC has successfully been implemented up to grade 5. Next month, by the grace of God, the pioneers will join grade 6 and sit for their first national assessment later this year. These children have already spent 8 years in the competency-based curriculum. I wish to assure the country that all curriculum materials for grade 6 have been prepared and distributed to all public schools. As you have heard from the Teacher Service Commission CEO, Dr. Nancy Macharia, all relevant teachers have been trained to teach grade 6. So we are prepared for the rollout. And many more teachers will be trained. To be more specific, next month we shall train teachers for grades 7 and 8. But being Kenyans, you can be sure you'll be asking again and again, have the teachers been trained? Are the teachers there? Ahead of the start of the junior secondary school next year, the Ministry of Education, under the very competent leadership of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, has constructed 6,497 new classrooms to accommodate CBC Pioneer class under the first phase at the cost of 5.123 billion shillings. The most important thing to note here is that each of these classrooms has costed only 788,000 shillings. We like it or not. Where has the 426,000 shillings extra been going to? Because most of the classrooms before this were constructed at 1.26 million. So we must give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And I want to thank the President for being firm on us, saying that he was of the considered opinion that 788,000 can construct classrooms. I'm saying they are all completed because the few that are not complete are either at walling or roofing stage, and my team and I shall ensure that they are complete before the end of the exams. And then we shall embark on the phase 2 of the program, which is the balance of 3,503 classrooms. In fact, this morning I asked His Excellency the President to provide money for this, and the answer was in the affirmative. So before we leave office, ladies and gentlemen, whether anybody likes it or not, we shall have constructed 10,000 classrooms at 788,000 shillings each. And I think this should be a blueprint. And I want to ask members of the Fourth Estate to be making noise about this. If you are saying the same classes we are constructing at 788, where are you taking the balance of the money? I think Kenya is not a poor country. It is just that it has no good workers. There are many jobs, but there are no workers in Kenya. Are we together here? Because people work for their pockets. And I've just remembered, I want to recognize just one person. Yusuf, stand up so that they can see you. Everybody forgets about this young boy here called Yusuf. The fact that we were able to mark these exams quickly and on time, he's the last in the chain. So let's not judge people from where they are. But there are times he was sleeping at 4:30, and by 7:30 he's here. And we are now releasing the results. And you have seen all my leaders have forgotten him. I will not forget him. Thank you. All these preparations, ladies and gentlemen, make me extremely comfortable that my successor will find a good script to follow in the CBC implementation. But I want to dare say once again that this ministry is not a ministry for the faint-hearted. The education ministry is not a ministry for the faint-hearted, starting from your house to the field and to your house. The competency-based assessment, as I already said before, the first grade 6 assessment is set to be administered in December of this year. It's expected that this national assessment will account for 40% of the candidate's final mark, while the remaining 60% will have come from the classroom teacher scores from school-based assessments of grade 4, 5, and 6. This new testing is expected to emphasize both formative and summative assessments, which hopefully will heavily reduce the nonsense cutthroat competition that we see witnessed under the 844 system, and heavily reduce incentives for cheating in examinations. And for the avoidance of doubt, even this examination I'm presenting you did not leak. Many of you would have hoped that it leaked so that you can provide things you are going to write about, but unfortunately it did not leak. I also wish to assure my successor that I have ensured that the grade 6 national assessment is ready, and all that is required is to oversee the administration. My plea to the next government, whichever it is to encourage it to ensure continuous security of our examination process until the CBC is fully grounded. The administration of the December 22 examination will effectively mark the end of the rearranged academic calendar that was forced upon us by an external factor, COVID-19, occasioning a prolonged closure in 2020. Beginning of January 2023, our country will go back to the traditional academic calendar starting in January and ending in November of each year. I wish to thank the stakeholders, starting with the parents, the learners, and the teachers. But above all, I want to thank His Excellency the President for being bold enough to bite the bullets when everybody was singing the opposite song. I think in leadership, what I've learned from President Kenyatta is one thing, that decision-making process is perhaps the most important aspect of leadership. So he made a decision to bite the bullet, and while some people wasted up to 2 years, we are going to go back to normal in some months' time. I also do not want to forget our teachers, whom nobody can compensate them. So let me not hear teachers saying, oh, we are not being paid enough. Who the hell do you think is being paid enough? Nobody is paying me to work for 16 hours a day. So you should also do the same, and most of them are doing so. And we are proud of them, Dr. Macharia, and we pass that message to them. I want to thank the President for offering the ministry all the support, President, for the manner in which he has handled me as a cabinet secretary. He has never given me instructions that confuse me, as if he's saying this and meaning this. Every instruction he has given me has been towards the poor of this nation. So, President Kenyatta's contribution to the education sector will comprise a myriad of chapters, and you can take that to the bank, because it's not about politics. You can actually measure what has been done. The multi-agency examination administration, the successful administration of this exam for the last 6 years would not have been possible if we did not have a multi-agency approach, some of whom I will not name, some I will name because you see the policemen. Basically, I want to recognize, first of all, my fallen colleague, the late General Kcpe, who together with Fred Matiang'i and Joe Mucheru started this process when I was recruited to work at another level. And we have continued to better the system, except that the Kenyans have refused to accept that the container system which we picked after I went around African countries, and we picked it in Uganda, has been watertight. The exam cannot leak. So I don't know, whoever says the exam, show us the paper the day before. It's a very simple thing they are doing, which even a man who failed the exam can do. Once the examination has left the container, then 1 or 2 teachers will go and take a photo and put it in the mtandao. But the children are already in the classroom. So now that we have stopped phone from going into classes, if you are stupid, continue to do so. And I want to warn here, ladies and gentlemen, I have a choice. My choice is to remain a cabinet secretary until tomorrow. If you choose to put your career online, we shall punish the children and we shall punish the teachers. Just wait and see. It's not a joke anymore, because I think it is a criminal offense to confuse a youngster who is very intelligent. You want to send things in a phone when he's already inside and thinking. So those who are bold enough, who are doing so, who have already taken money from these people, must be prepared to face the consequences which are coming. I'm talking very firmly because there are some we have already caught. Not that the exam leaked, but your attempt, if you are caught with a cell phone, for example, there is a price you shall pay. And it's not a very sweet price. So if you are bold enough to try, go ahead and try. Even this morning, perhaps they tried. Tomorrow, if you like, you can try. And we shall catch you. And in less than 2 weeks, if you are a teacher, your job is gone. That's it. We must not forget the 100% transition in line with the government's 100% transition. But all these children, the 1,214,031, all of them will transit to high school. You will ask why. Some of them were caught colluding. Yes, Our law says if you catch a child colluding in primary school, for that subject the child gets 0. So that will bring the marks down. Up to now, I don't think there's any child who was caught with all the papers. So even if you passed on only one, you will go to a school which is appropriate with you. Are we together? So, but they will pay for it, especially all those that... Already the minister has put in place measures to ensure that a selection exercise is conducted soonest, and I dare say that Kcpe, within 2 weeks I would be wanting to know whether it is complete or not. You have no sleep until we complete that subject. Umeelewa? Now, when the legacy of His Excellency the President is written, the LIMU scholarship program will be written in it. And this program has enabled the poor children of Kibera, of Kiandutu, or what have you, of Kisumu, children who are intelligent like I was, and who are poor like I was, and who had no chance of becoming a doctor and finally a CS like me, because the mandarins were around it. So they would sell their positions. If you are taken in alliance, people with money through collusion will buy your place and allow you to go to a high school near your area. We want to thank His Excellency the President for his wisdom, that as we speak now there are 18,000 children whose scholarships are for the 4 years, starting from 2019. And this means that those poor will also raise their families, because when they rise, they will rise with their families. And because of that, the President has very gladly agreed this morning that we continue with another 9,000 beneficiaries this year. And so I am going to state here that we should look for James Mwangi, and we start. And I will not be in my office, I'll be with them. I want to be sure that it is that child who requires that scholarship that gets it. Because I am the best example. Are we together here? And I think, despite all the politics, let us give to Caesar what belongs to him. Because originally that scholarship was supposed to be meant for other people only. His Excellency the President called me and said, no, go and look for the urban poor children. There are many children who are poor in the urban area. And I found very many of them. As far as irregularities are concerned, usually this primary school exam does not have too many irregularities because it's not high stakes. This time round, we had 320 candidates who were attempting to collude in 7 examination centers. There will be a price to pay by each of those 320 candidates, and the exam administrators in those 7 centers are going to be severely admonished in the usual manner. Dr. Macharia, it is over to you. If there's anyone that belongs to Interior, ile mtu iko wapi? Yeah, I've forgotten your name. Mr. Mukwe. We shall hand over to you. So within the next 2 weeks or so, you will be hearing what has been done as far as primary school is concerned. Of the details, 1.2 million candidates in 28,313 centers. Of these, we have achieved gender parity, 50.28 boys, 49.72% girls. Basically comparable to last year's. Now, during the 2021 examination, 12 counties registered more females than males. Very strange. Mombasa, Mberu, Isiolo, Tharaka Nithi, Nairobi, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Bungoma, Kakamega, Vihiga, Kisumu, and Siaya. In 2020, there were 20 of them. So it's like we thank God the male child is starting to come up. The number of candidates who are absent this time decreased from 12,424 to 11,500. The number of registered candidates who are below age increased from 26,000 to 33,000. The counties that had the highest entry for these candidates is very strange, and I'm going to read them very carefully. Baringo, Bomet, Kericho, West Pokot, and Nyamira. Doesn't make sense, but that is the truth. I'm asking, why not in the urban areas? So these counties, except for Nyamira, recorded similar trend last year. So it means then that there is something happening there. Could it be due to some traditional activities that they do there? We will do a tracer study to find out. The highest number of candidates came from the traditional years, over about 45% between 13 and 14 years. And when we jump to the overage, which is 19 years, they came from Turkana, Garissa, Kilifi, Kwale, and Mandera. Again, these countries, except for Mandera, recorded the same for last year. Performance per subject. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce that 6 papers recorded an improved performance in the year 2021 as compared to 2020. These are English composition, Kiswahili Lugha, Kiswahili Insha, Kenyan Sign Language composition, science and social studies. 3 other papers, mathematics, English language and religious education, recorded a drop in performance when compared to 2021. Kenya Sign Language recorded a comparable performance between the 2 years. In terms of gender, the performance of male and female candidates was comparable. However, the females always defeat the boys in English and Kiswahili, and they have maintained that. Male candidates were better in STEM subjects, Kenya Sign Language, mathematics and science, and religious education. Overall performance of the candidates. In 2021 examination, overall performance improved compared to 2020, although the highest mark dropped from 433 to 428. The mean average performance and quality of grades for all candidates is higher. For example, whereas 8,091 candidates, which is 0.68%, scored between 400 and 500 marks in 2020, the number increased to 11,857, which is 0.97% in 2021. This is an indicator that most candidates scored better scores than the previous year. I wish to commend all teachers and parents and candidates for this good performance during the challenging period. The summary of the grades is as follows. It's on a table, which I will not read fully, but I will just mention. 4 to 500, 11,857, 300 to 399, 315,275, 200 to 299, 578,197. Gentlemen and ladies of the media will see it from the list. I'm impressed that the mark range between the candidates, the top 10 candidates, is only 3 points. Actually, there are up to 14 candidates in order to make the top 10, but the mark range is only 3 points, and that tells you something. And I will read a few. The top candidate for this year's examination is Magata Bruce Mackenzie from Gilgil Hills Academy. He is at position 1 with 428 points. The second candidate is Momanyi Ashley Kerubo from Makini School, Kibos, with 427 points. Number 3 is carried by 6 of them, so I'll just read maybe one because of time. or two. Kuoma Charity Bahoya Buyanzi, Holy Family Misihu Girls Primary School. The next is Mbogwa Sharon Wairimu Uteti, Emmanuel Academy. Number 5, which is also with 3 points, it's Muteti Chantel Ndinda, Kitengela International School. Another one is 426 is Stanley Otieno Mondi, Rofinfield Junior Secondary School. Number 7, also with which is basically number 3, Wekesa Naomi, White Star Academy. Number 8, Kimani Ethan Karuga, Stepping Stones Preparatory, also with 426. Then the rest 4 are with 425, and the first one is Njeru Joel Junior Musioka. Njeru Joel Junior Musioka, Nyagwa Primary School. Then Kirinya Murioki Victor, PCEA Mwimbi Boarding Primary School. Second last one, Diana Rose Natolo, First Beth Academy. And finally, Kaberia Emmanuel Munene, New Bambini. There are two others. Let me just finish them. Emmanuel Kiplangat Ngetich, Moi Primary School, Kabarak, and George Morris Otieno Hill School. And that makes the list of 14, but basically number 1, 2, and 3. Now those with disabilities had better spread out. For candidates with special needs, the top candidates there are 2 in between 400 to 500, but they have improved between 300 and 399, and they have up to 337 of them compared to last year when they had 318. And I think I will just call a few of them. Right, I don't have the list of SNE candidates, but then I'll go to the candidates who are top candidates in SNE. I have the list here. Bethany Tatila Migosi from Thorngrove Academy with 417 points. Grace Nema Katana from Havila Academy, Mutwapa Primary School. Kamau Jackson Degwa from Mudhiria. Musioka Kings Kevin. All those have 401. The 2 of them have 401. Kazozweni AIC. And number 5 is Migosi Dominic Sese from Maunarok, 401. Number 6 is Minor Leighton Jagi, Olkalau Disabled, 399. Otieno Bara Konyango from St. Cecilia Olare in Homa Bay. Number 6, Mwechofi Leonora Mukawaindi, De Paul Catholic School, Kamulu. Number 9, Philip Karani, Likoni School for the Blind. And number 10, Dorcas Cherono, St. Sophia, Kapchepokane Primary School, 396. The number of candidates who start examination under special circumstances, including those who start the examination in hospitals, decreased from 1,240 to 1,067. The most improved public schools whose candidates are greater than 50 I will read just a few per region. The first region is the Coast Region, Kambi Awaya from 203 to 266. Central Region, Njenga Karume from 207 to 248. Eastern, Ngukuine from 165 to 250. Nairobi, Keleta from 213 to 263. Rift Valley, Lenkishoni from 198 to 272. Western, Kewa DEB from 216 to 284. Nyanza, Nyangiti from 170 to 232. And Northeastern, Mandera DEB from 181 to 270. We encourage them and hope that they continue to improve. Ladies and gentlemen, accessing the Kcpe examination results, it is our tradition that the Kcpe examination results will be collected by respective schools from the sub-county education offices. Candidates should therefore collect their results from their respective examination centers. And let me warn the head teachers, both public and private, this is a Kenya government examination. You shall give the candidate his or her results. Talk about school fees on the side. Are we together here? You are keeping it, is it your school? And is it your country? So can we give every candidate his results so that I don't have people coming up to my office that we give results from here? That is thoroughly inhuman. And I hope that is taken in the manner that it is required. Individual candidates' results can be assessed by sending a candidate's index number followed by initials Kcpe, the short-term SMS to 20076. This service will be available immediately after this event. Head teachers will be required to download and print the online result slips for candidates in their schools and authenticate the same before they release them to the parents and guardians. And it is the wish of His Excellency the President, and also mine, that every child gets his results. Deal with the parents later. Because as far as the public is concerned, primary school is free. Are we together? And even in the private sector, if you decided to take part of the work of government, thank you for taking the work. But now you must give the result to the child. It is now my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to declare the examination results for 2021 officially open. And just to hasten to say that we are still in the field. And as soon as this is done, I want all the officers who are here to forget about the ceremony and get back to work.
May I now CS request that you hand over, that you receive the CEO, please, the chair, the PS.
We want you at the center. Massive, you will let us out.
You can now see the size 11 and above in practice. Thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary. I now invite Madam Imelda Baraza